what the Center for Career and Professional Development is asking me to do with this next 45 minutes is to try to see if we can narrow this down in a way where we can actually talk about how this can actually apply to the careers that we choose, and to use this as a springboard, not only to make make our way in the workforce, but to do so in such a way where we are actually making an impact on our communities for the better. As you see in front of you, these, as it applies to criminal justice, we have some amazing, amazing career possibilities that go across the spectrum. And many of the items that you see in front of you now are very, very familiar to you. Of course, you have things like corrections officer, you have DEA agents, cybercrime specialists, you have detectives and police officers. But one thing that we all know as criminal justice majors and as criminal justice professionals in the future, we know that the way that we have our criminal justice program at LaGuardia, it's not designed strictly to be a cop shop. Criminal justice possibilities run the spectrum. And while we have some amazing and very, very vital services from our law enforcement spectrum, we're going to discuss some of the lesser known areas of criminal justice as well. When I say lesser known, I'm talking about, of course, a lot of our colleagues who just assume that each and every one of you that were involved in criminal justice, that each and every one of you want to aspire to a career that involves a badge and a gun. And as important as that is, I know not all of you, in fact, most of you do aspire to other aspects of criminal justice as well. We're going to talk about all of that this morning, okay? Out of that list, we have some very, very popular and very, very vital career paths that we can all take, okay, that are connected with criminal justice. Some of the causes that we've been hearing about on a regular basis over the years have to do with things like bail reform, reforming our bail system that many people feel have major disparities, okay? We're talking about prison reform here. Some people might even go so far as to advocate for prison abolition, something I just wrote about in my second book. How about, here's a big one. Of those of you who saw 13th, the documentary, then you know that we have a huge issue of eliminating mass incarceration in our jails and our prisons. The careers in front of you all support these items in some form or fashion. How about educational services for incarcerated men and women? And some of the logic behind that. There are careers that will assist in the furtherance of that aim. We have a recent development, of course, right, with the marijuana laws, and you have a lot of folks out there, a lot of our men and women, and especially our young folks. Some of you are trying to get involved in civil service employment and other kinds of employment, but you have marijuana possession convictions. Well, how about the activism to try to expunge those records of people who have low-level marijuana convictions now that marijuana is legal in New York State, as it is in other states? How about eliminating police profiling and disparities of law within enforcing some of these, like stop and frisk laws and broken windows policing? This is a cause as well, especially within communities of color and in low socioeconomic communities. Promoting drug-free communities. A lot of areas in criminal justice. You guys have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to the variety of careers that can address one or more of these areas that I'm highlighting this morning. And finally, we have this whole idea of violence interrupters, something that I first learned about when I was in Chicago, and something that I hope that Ms. Rower Adams might touch upon a little bit later on. Folks who are involved in trying to stop the violence in our streets in some form or fashion. The items that you see in front of you now speak to these specific areas.